What else you want to know, Jen? I already told you I was raised in an orphanage. I escaped that and I grew up on the streets of Mornwood till I joined up with the circus that came through town. That's where you and Castrol found me. And that's it. I never knew my parents. The sisters at the orphanage told me that a lone man in tattered clothes and a haunted face left me on their doorstep. They say that was my father, and I have a feeling that wherever these powers of mine come from, they came to me through him. So, I'll find him one day, you know? When we're all done with this, I'll find him. The orphanage was hell on earth. I swear, those nuns were worse than Mammon's demons. They used to beat up us kids, starve us, lock us up for days. When strange things, started to happen around me, not a day went by when they didn't threaten to burn me as a witch. You want to know how I escaped the orphanage? I burned it, straight to the goddamn ground. I started a fire and ran off in all the chaos. I was barely a teen then, but I still hear the screams of those habit-wearing bitches. I hope some of the other kids got free too. But I don't regret that one damn bit. Compared to the orphanage, Mornwood was heaven. On the streets of one of the biggest towns in the Hard West, I just blended right in. And I liked that. Whenever I got into trouble, I had my witchcraft to help me. No one could catch me. Just imagine what jobs and cons I managed to pull off. But folks started to figure it out, and soon the law was all too interested in me. They put up wanted posters everywhere, accusing me of witchcraft and dealing with the devil. Can you imagine? A crazed mob of people searched every nook and cranny of Mornwood to find me. And you'll never guess who helped me escape. A local priest of all people. Guess not all people of the faith are assholes after all. Soon after I was driven out of Mornwood, I joined a traveling circus. We performed through the whole Hard West with a bunch of wild animals and carny freaks. Those were good times. You'd be surprised how much everyone wanted to believe that my best bit, switching places with another guy as we're locked in coffins, was just some trick of smoke and mirrors. I think the ringmaster, Henderson, he knew the truth, but he never said a word about it to the others. Now I wonder how many of the other performers harbored some dark secret of their own. Anyhow, that's where you and Kestrel found me and offered me good money for help with a con you were pulling off. After that, I never looked back. I remember the look on yours and Clive's faces when you learned I wasn't just using stage magic, but real goddamn witchcraft. You were as pale as a pair of city slickers. I've grown to trust you, Jen, especially now. And you know what? I like you more the way you are now, without your soul. Because you used to be such a fucking prick sometimes. Now, though, it's like you're a new man. I'd think twice about getting your soul back, Jen, if I were you. You seem like you're doing just fine without it.
Something is deeply wrong with you if you think you can just casually ask me about my past. Riding together, even killing together, does not give you that right. Even if I wanted to share my story with you, you could not possibly understand it. You are a stubborn one. Fine, I will speak. I come from the people of the Great Plains. Once, we were free. The horizon was ours, and we belonged to the earth and the sky. Everything was in harmony for generations untold. And then your people came. Not enough? You want more? If you think I am angry, you should meet Macaw. His fury at the settlers who invaded our lands knows no bounds. He started a movement that spread among the tribes like a prairie fire. He called for our people to use any means at hand, even the foulest of powers, to drive you out or destroy you for good. The worst of our people flocked to his banner. They called themselves the Shadow Dance. I am no longer proud of it, but for a while, I rode with Macaw and was part of his Shadow Dance. I bled for him, I killed for him, and when he asked me to do something unspeakable, I was all too eager to sacrifice my honor for him. Have you heard about the great leader Diving Bird? Everyone from every nation respected him, even your people. Rather than call for war, he worked for peace. He inspired people to hope that we might one day learn to put our conflicts behind us. He was a fool. As I said, Diving Bird was a fool. There is no coexisting with the settlers who ravaged our land and slaughtered our people. You are a sickness that will one day poison the very earth. Macaw saw this. So, he sent me to kill Diving Bird. And I did. Yes, I actually killed Diving Bird. But once Macaw saw the outrage this act provoked, he denied asking me to do it. Rather than take credit for this great crime and use it to fan the fires of the Shadow Dance, he cowered in fear of retaliation and let the blame fall entirely on my head. So I ran, and I am running still. What I did, killing Diving Bird, at the time, I believed it had to be done. Even after Macaw abandoned me, I still thought it was the right thing to do. Now, I am not so sure. But I cannot change what I have done. I can only try to escape having to pay for it, like any other thief who cannot afford what they have stolen. If there is one thing that riding with you has taught me, Carter, it is that you can only avoid the consequences of your actions for so long. Eventually, death catches up with even the best of us. The most any of us can hope for is to find a good crew to run with. We can all run in the same direction, at least. Right up until the end. You can be a heartless asshole, Carter, but you've always done well by me. You have been more loyal than Macaw ever was, and I am proud to ride with you. So, let's finish this journey together and find out what lies beyond our horizon. A glorious life or a glorious death.
I come from the northwest coast, where my people hunted whales and deer. We were prosperous and peaceful, and rarely had any trouble with any settlers. But that was before the Elkrut massacre. One of your wealthy men became interested in our land, rich in trees and pelts. He tricked the local settlers and the army soldiers at a nearby fort into turning against us, providing false proof of our supposed crimes against them. He also bribed a man from another tribe, singing fish, to live among us and sow trouble. Remember that wealthy trader I was talking about? He kept plotting against us for years. In the end, violence broke out. My people clashed with countless soldiers and settlers. Over 1,000 people died, including most of my family. How did I survive the battle that slaughtered my family? I ran away, leaving my family and friends to die. After wandering lost for days, I found shelter with distant cousins. I was only 10 years old then, and I still remember the smell of blood and gunpowder filling the air. The conflict became known as the Elk Rut Massacre. A newspaper in Seattle sent reporters to investigate, and they discovered what had really happened. That damn fur trader got run out of the area, which I suppose was the smallest possible measure of justice. One day when I was 14, an old man named Maka came to visit my cousins and me. According to my aunties, he was always trying to stir up trouble. And when he saw me, he got the scent of it and refused to let go. At Maka I was telling you about, he told my cousins that I had spirits inside me. The 1,000 voices dead, he called them. The souls of the people who died in the Elk Rut Massacre, just waiting for me to unleash them so they can have their vengeance. The sad part, he was not wrong. Those 1,000 voices dead I was talking about, I didn't want to have anything to do with them. I knew they'd only bring more violence, more death. Rather than wait for Maka to turn my people against me so he could use the 1,000 voices dead for his own ends, I struck out on my own. I became a tracker and a hunter for hire, learning the ways of your people, learning what drives you. I'm still learning. I need to thank you. You were there to help me save Lala Naet, and she means more than life to me. For that, I will help you do what you need to do. I will help destroy that demon of yours. I've learned to trust and respect you, Jin Carter. And those are two things I do not do lightly. There is truth and justice within you, even if you try to deny it. Do yourself a favor. Flow with the river.